He
Robs
to the
from the
rich and he gives to the poor. Stood up
I don't
to
know the next
the
one.
man and something.
Gave him what for? I remember
Yes,
that part.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The hero of Canton, the man they call Jayne. Anyway, that's going to be in the episode.
That's
That went on. That song went on so long.
It's,
in the episode or just now?
In the episode.
Yes.
There are so many verses, apparently.
Right.
Better than the theme. Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By Shore Leave Firefly episode 4.
Woo!
This
Waka
is
waka.
Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames.
Caitlin.
Jake.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Justice. I tried to say, hey, you go first this time. And then I cued her when it showed, like, at the time it was supposed to be happening. I was like, do it. You go first.
Should we redo this part?
No, it's fine.
No, we're fine.
Nope.
This is
Justin
how we
and Kelly
do.
are joining us again.
Yep, we stayed here for a week. Our child is somewhere.
He's
Learning
actually,
life lessons.
he's now
Probably fine.
one of the 3,012 Democratic candidates for the U.S. presidency.
Huzzah.
Congratulations.
When is this going up? Who knows what will have happened
That's
by
true.
now?
I hope Marianne Williamson's still involved because she's my pick.
Who did we managed to get rid of the mooch that time.
That's true. We did actually fire the mooch.
We were, like, talking about him a few days after he got the job, but by the time the episode went live, he was gone.
And we actually predicted that he would last a couple of weeks. Like,
Wow.
I think we even predicted by the time this airs,
he might not
he
be
won't
there.
appear
I didn't
anymore.
realize I was on the 538 podcast right now.
Yeah,
This is-
we're pretty good. We
Yep,
run
I'm
the
some
numbers.
statistics
We're
nerd.
crunching the numbers right now.
Yep.
I predict a 98% chance our listeners have already stopped listening.
Oh, yeah. This week, we will be looking at Jaynestown and Out of Gas. First up on Jaynestown, the Serenity and her crew making a stopover on...
Canton.
Thank you. Well, that's the town. Is it also the planet?
I don't fucking know.
What's it called?
Canton.
Oh, I think it's Camden.
P3X138.
So anywho, they're at Canton to get some smuggled stuff. And Jayne is all like, can I please stay on the ship? I've been here before, and there's some people that want me dead. And Nathan Fillion is all, I'm kind of a bad captain, so you're going to come with us. And he's like, son of a bitch. But then it turns out, apparently, only some people hate him. And a lot of people think he's a fucking folk hero to the point that they have built him a goddamn statue.
He's Robin Hood.
Yeah, and written him an endless song. And in a really kind of weird B-plot, the dude what Jayne robbed all them years ago is trying to get his son's cherry popped. So he has hired Inara. And,
I would say he succeeds.
well, yes, that's true. But we don't know at first what's going to happen. They do the hoodly doodly, and, you know, he starts telling Inara the story about the guy who was there and pissed off his dad. And she, of course, thinks it's Mal. And then he's like, no, it's Jayne. And she is horrified, but also finds out that the old man has put a landlock on the ship. And she's all like, knowing smile.
I'm one of the people on that ship.
Yes. So, in the meanwhile, Nathan Fillion is all right, well, these people love Jayne. We're going to use him as cover because the guy that they were supposed to meet with has been killed by the local government because they found out he was smuggling. So they found the stuff, but they need to get it to the ship, so they have this big party happening, so all the guards are distracted by that. And they get the goods to the ship, but in the interim, Magistrate Higgins, the guy what was robbed, has unlocked a teensy little box that Jayne's partner was in for 4 years. That's horrifying. So it turns out Jayne had this partner.
Stitch.
Yes, who he had... So, yeah, I didn't mention. So the reason he's a folk hero is because he dumped a massive safe of money on the poor part of town, really just because his ship was not going to take off with the weight. But, of course, the locals have decided, no, he's a folk hero.
Although I thought it was because they took damage.
Yeah, that's what I said. Or meant to say if I didn't.
Oh.
But, so he had to, lose
Caitlin's an
ballast.
empath. She knew.
But, so first he'd thrown out the chairs and this and that, and then his partner Stitch, who got captured instead of dying, and has just been in this teeny box ever since. So he sends Stitch to kill him. Stitch goes to kill him. Some teenager who idolizes Jayne jumps in the way of the buckshot. He dies. Jayne has a sad. The end.
Kills the fuck out of Stitch.
Oh, yes. He
Using
does.
his own statue of himself.
I guess Jayne didn't realize that Moana means never leaving your family behind or whatever the fuck.
Never seen the movie. So.
I only have seen it once. I'm just trying to make a Stitch joke. I'm drowning here. Someone help.
Oh, not Moana. That's the other. Mahala?
Mahala? That sounds right.
Mahala. I've never seen the movie. So
Well, either way.
I'm trying to remember a quote
a
secondhand.
Stitch reference. Please cut all of that.
Nope.
Fuck.
So we start off this episode, I know last week Caitlin was being very prescient and saying, oh man, they let Simon do a thing which was a terrible, terrible idea.
Right, he
Why?
poses as the buyer.
Why did they do this? He's awful.
Yeah, no, he's a dum-dum.
Yeah, so what do they do with Simon?
They make him pretend to be a nobleman and buy mud.
Because
He's
he
here
worked-
to buy mud.
Because he happens to be wearing a nice looking jacket that someone else could have just worn and done it themselves.
Yeah.
This is yet another instance where we get to a slave planet.
Yeah.
The whole slavery thing in this show is a little uncomfortable.
And no one ever seems like terribly bothered by it.
It's just
like
the way
in this,
it be.
yeah, in this episode, Jayne like comes to be on the side of the Mudders because they love him so much and no one else can fucking stand him. But generally speaking, everybody else is like pretty okay with the tons of slavery that's happening.
Yeah. I kind of almost liked this one.
It's a good episode.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
it's
the
very
episode.
good. It's
Solid
very
episode.
good.
This is a good episode. It's got that great wash line where he says, "Let's go to the crappy town where I'm a
I
hero."
love that.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
so
that's
lovely.
Pretty good moment.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of an unwitting folk hero having to face their own... What's the word?
Legacy or legend.
Legend.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
very Zephyrin Cochrane, right? When he meets what's their face from the future, and
Yeah.
he's like,
The
"What do you
Forge.
mean? There's a fucking statue
You
of
told
me?"
him about the statue?
And him sort of at first being repelled by it and then buying into it and then feeling like...
He can't live up to
Well,
it.
well, let's
Yeah.
get real.
This is
Like,
the
Well,
most
and
this
he
is,
can't.
introspective
I mean,
he
to be
ever
fair,
is.
he's
like, this is Jayne. This
Yeah.
is not a complicated individual. Like, he wasn't having difficulty with being a hero so much as he was afraid that someone was going to attack him for the thieving. But then once it became clear that he was actually a hero, he was quite comfortable receiving the free gifts and sex.
The
Yeah,
man they call me.
I think the thing that was the final turning point for him was the fact that they had a riot in his
Oh yeah,
name.
he was super on board for the riot.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a folk song that, again, it goes on possibly almost as long as any folk song.
Yeah. Wow, it really is a folk song.
It's basically Alice's
It's
restaurant.
the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
But yeah, like
It's catchy as hell though.
yeah, and when you're not expecting it, it is certainly a lot of fun. Like you're expecting it, the way they're positioning the episode, he's not going to show up and be a hero. He's going to have to hide it the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really amusing to watch everybody else have like them all sitting around listening to the song, being like, "What the hell
Yeah,
is this?"
everyone's reactions, like they're just their facial expressions are
Yeah.
just every single one of them is so lovely. And Simon's like, nope, this is what it feels like to be going mad. And Wash calls him, what does he call him? It's because it's great. I wrote it down. Jayne, the box dropping man ape gone. Oh no, that's what Simon says. The box dropping man ape gone wrong thing, which is the best way to describe Jayne.
Yeah.
Who is the person who had been like waiting on the ship while they were on planet? Who was like, wait, we're gonna have to start again. He's a folk. What
That was Zoe.
Was that Zoe?
Zoe.
Okay.
But yeah, there
the
was
ship
there was
plot's
a
done.
weird B
Oh,
plot
yeah,
on the
yeah.
ship where Book took his
and
butt
River
out
out.
and it freaked River out.
I mean,
And
here's
she
the thing.
fixed his Bible.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It had an incredibly realistic moment where a rich white woman was terrified of natural black hair.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Yes.
I've been holding that in since I saw the episode.
Oh my, yeah, that's true.
I thought his hair looked really cool, all puffy like that. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
did too.
I like the
should leave
show,
that.
but I like this episode. But yeah, the ship plot was
They're just like, no, that was clearly a we ran a bit short B plot.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's almost like Zoe had to stay on the ship just to reaffirm that joke was even okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
because she
Kind of.
came in and was like, yeah, put your hair away.
Yeah.
Well, we learned.
Well, she also had a good reaction to it as well.
Yeah, we
That
learned
makes
in Safe not to let River wander around because bad
Yeah.
things happen when you let River wander around. So now whenever they go somewhere, you have to be reminded, River's on the ship, someone has to babysit River.
Mm-hmm.
This has to become part of the show.
I don't know a lot about Book's actor, but I hope he does.
Ron Glass?
Ron
Thank you.
Glass.
I
He
think
died a
he's
couple years
passed away.
back. Yeah.
No.
He died?
He passed
Fuck
away a
me.
couple years back. He was on a couple of other things though.
He guest starred on Friends.
Oh yeah, that's
I
right.
watched that.
What did he
episode
die
recently.
of?
He was an older man.
Didn't seem that.
He wasn't
old.
that old. Well, this is like 20 years later almost.
True.
I guess. But
yeah, he
That's a
passed away
bummer.
just a few years ago. It was a sad day for the Browncoats.
I was just gonna say, and this is not like a attempt at a bad pun, and it's a genuine thing. The man's voice, like, I hope before he passed, he maybe did some audiobooks, because I would love to listen. That man could read the phone book.
Yeah, Ron
does have a
Glass,
great
he's
voice.
great. I bet he has a really great
He can read any book.
series of
No.
credits that you
boy.
hey.
Oh, he died of respiratory failure at the age of 71.
That's still
Yeah.
pretty young.
Pretty
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, Ron Glass, R.I.P.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about Summer Glau, but
Yeah, sorry, I ruined the mood by
Like-
unwittingly
like-
bringing up the death
well, no,
of Ron
it's because
Glass.
it's that Ron Glass had a good full life and a full career, and Summer Glau was basically undone by this series because
No, she was in Knights of Badassdom.
well, the thing is that like
She was in Dollhouse as the same character.
She was
was
in
in
Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
in every single thing, Summer Glau plays essentially an extension of River, which
Yeah,
is
the
a
waif
a
warrior.
mysterious waif that people don't necessarily understand. And because this show never got the chance to actually explore her, the nobody that was building off of this ever had anything else to say from it, because a lot of people are pulling what they got and.
So she never broke out of the, like, Ophelia stereotype
Exactly.
that she had been pigeonholed into.
Yeah, so I think that
and then they have to rush to give her closure in the movie.
yeah, that's,
Spoilers for the movie, sort of.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that is, so I'll look forward to rewatch.
Great.
Well, not actually look forward, but
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, Jaynestown, like, such a good episode.
Yeah, I did note that they were sort of treating the situation the same way they treated the Saffron situation, which we talked about last week in Our Mrs. Reynolds, where it's a thing, it's a new thing that we can joke about one of our crew members whilst they want to get fucking shit done, but we're all gonna laugh at this statue for 15 fucking minutes.
But it's Jayne, so it's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to laugh at Jayne, and B, Jayne, there's nothing that's going to break his stride once he's on
Right.
this planet. He's like, yes, sure, mock me all you want. How many people are celebrating you?
someone asks if you are a god. You say no, because it's me.
Yeah, it's a good show. So the Mud Planet.
I did like that it's something that seems very like, what the fuck are they doing? And then, oh yeah, it's ceramic components. You're like, oh yeah, that's actually super important to space travel.
Yeah.
But it's also like,
and early civilizations.
why this thing is, again, like, this is an example in this show of like something that would definitely be mechanized in the future, but because it's the Old West, it has to be slaves doing all the work. Also, this was something I picked up. So Simon, Mr. Smarty Pants, drops a major fucking
Faux pas.
a faux pas.
I don't know what we're talking
he
about.
drops some incorrect historical information.
Mm-hmm.
He says that when they're talking about the beer that they're drinking, the mother's milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Delicious.
like, oh, it's very similar to the beer that they fed the slaves, and they're building the
Pyramids.
pyramids. For the last fucking time, people, the pyramids weren't built by slaves. It's a fucking historical myth, you dicks.
It was built by aliens.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
No, well, it's true. It was built by the Goa'uld as a landing platform for their motherships. However, other than that, it's been well established that the pyramids were built by well-paid masons.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
The whole slave thing. It's,
Did
unless
they-
there's like been new historical information, maybe it's been updated. The last I heard about it, the whole slave thing was apocryphal. That it was actually skilled laborers. I don't know if they were actually well paid. Might be
I was
a
going to say,
stretch.
I'm sure there were
But they
masons involved,
but
but
they
they
were
still might
skilled
have had
laborers.
slaves.
It wasn't like
I mean, Masons might have cut the pieces, but build up, actually putting them in place, I wouldn't be too surprised if that was slave labor.
I don't think so. Maybe it's possible, but again, I don't think so.
I mean, it would be super nice if it wasn't slaves.
But
they still had slaves. Don't worry.
Even if he's wrong, he is also how many years removed from even their being in Earth.
Yeah, they always call it the Earth that was.
He's such a smarty pants about it,
Well, yeah, but he also knows that no one can fact check him because they're
true.
all idiots.
And no one knows what actually happened on Earth.
True. Just get on the wave. Get on the waves. Earth that's something that's irritated me.
You don't like that? I don't like that.
It's
I
kind
think
of
it's a good name.
It's cute the first time, but after a while you're like, just call it Earth.
No, I kind of like. Well, the thing is, like, I feel like that title has kind of just become the actual name that everyone refers to it as.
And like when we talk about the legends, we tend to use these sorts of things.
Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Why don't we just call him Alexander?
There
There's
are a
lots
lot
of
of
people named
Alexanders.
Alexander. Yeah.
Some of them sucked.
I was gonna say we could have been talking about the Alexander from Star Trek.
Alexander.
We call him Ivan the Terrible. We don't call him, Vlad Tepes or.
Anyway,
But no, it's
Dracula.
I think it's also a nice reminder to the audience that this is an entirely different world. This is an entirely different solar system.
Yeah.
That you have to be remembering, like, oh yeah, A, reminder, this is sci-fi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And B, there's a lot of world building in this show that
Yeah.
they start with a template and then move out and out from there.
Do they still have a yellow sun? And if so, would it power Superman?
I'm wondering if
Depends on the planet.
maybe we're missing something important. Oh man, that would be cool. What if the society
Superman was in this
Firefly? What if the society in Firefly is actually the descendants of people that were in the Old West? That
The
were,
preservers snatched up like they did with Miramani's people.
that were abducted by aliens. Because that would kind of make sense, right? Because the Old West, I mean, there are, a lot of Chinese people helped build the railroad, so that could explain that influence in their society.
Mm-hmm.
You got all the Old West shit, all the cliches. I think I'm onto something.
Bunch of cows.
I think you should write a think piece.
They're actually somewhere way out in the Gamma Quadrant.
Mm.
Like one day Starfleet's gonna run into them.
There you go.
Yeah, and the reason why we don't see Native Americans is because they put them all on Miramani's planet.
Yeah,
that's right.
They're like, these people aren't getting along. Let's fix this.
Well, what I
So they stop treating each other terribly.
Like when you're saying that there's this place where couldn't mud be created by machines or that kind of thing? Like, do we know what the war did to all the planets in this world? Like,
No.
could some have been like scorched or basically like in a period of rebuilding, which kind of adds to that wild, wild west? Like,
yeah, it's possible. I also think that
It's all in this like sort of restoration.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I also think though, as well, in addition to that, is that these are. And this has been established that these are the outer territories.
we're in
bumfuck. Like this is uncivilized virgin land that they're working.
So maybe closer in they have like planets where there's machines, but to serve some of the outer areas they have planets where people are doing the mud.
Well, yeah, I mean it is kind of like that turn of the century situation where in 1900 you had the East Coast, the more civilized, so to speak, areas that were fully mechanized and had factories and, skyscrapers and cities and things like that. But then you have like Deadwood and Old West towns that are still Old West towns.
Yeah.
Could it also be that the planets that don't have all these technological advances are primarily like worlds that were under like the independent rule or whatever? So the Empire or whatever they're called in this, like, weren't really in a huge
Alliance.
rush. The Alliance,
Mm-hmm.
weren't in a huge rush to bring them up to speed.
Well,
because
is
Don't
my-
worry, they still have those holodeck windows.
Well, this is also
Thank
goes
God.
back to my whole thing that I'm not sure that I think we might only be getting part of the story when it comes to the
Oh goodness,
war.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Alliance is as bad as it's portrayed.
No. Like, they certainly have a very heavy Empire influence when they're portrayed in things in episodes like Ariel, which is coming up, and they have to go into those. Do those are those specifically just like they have some just large space bases, not just these are artificial planets essentially or artificial bases? Like Deep Space Nine was.
Like space stations?
Yes.
I mean,
stations.
at this point, we've only seen some of their office block spaceships.
Yeah.
So
Like
I'm
where
not
they
sure.
like where they brought Book 2 last week.
Yeah, and at
Yeah.
the time they had to with the interview montage in that other episode.
I like that montage.
But yeah, they did the like office block starships.
Yeah.
Which again, I contend is a pretty good way to build a starship, because if the engines are on the bottom
Yeah.
and they're producing thrust, you're going to get artificial gravity for free.
You just gotta keep going in a very wide arc in a circle. Yeah.
Oh, so one thing that was a little really was the fact that Stitch comes out of this box.
And he isn't
After-
atrophied to
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he
Yeah.
can still walk just fine. Because they implied he was in the box without a break. Like they weren't
Yeah, for
letting
like
him out
4
to stretch
years,
his
right?
legs.
And
They
took
had
his
to let
eye.
him out sometimes.
Yeah, where would he?
There's a
the
hole in the
bathroom.
bottom.
Is there a hole in the bottom?
Probably.
It
Hole in
cannot
the
be
bottom
full
of the sea.
of
Hole in
4
the bottom
years
of the
of
sea.
poop.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's definitely not big enough to have 4 years.
Maybe
of
that
poop in
mother's
it.
milk keeps you big and
Stops you
strong.
from pooping.
It gives you the shakes, and that's what keeps your muscles from
100%
atrophying.
efficiency.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one thing where I was a little wait a minute now. Unless, you could, he's fueled by hate and revenge.
And weird.
I just spent all that time just squeezing my muscles just to keep them from atrophying. I guess I'd be, if I was that bored.
But I also like when Stitch comes out and they hand him the gun, and he's like, "Why are you handing someone you kept in a box for 4 years a loaded gun?" And they're like,
True.
"Well, because you're going to want to go shoot Jayne with it." Well,
I
Still
would-
should have shot Higgins
Kate
first.
almost knows.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah,
like, what's
definitely
going on
shoot
here?
that guy first.
It's like, wow, there's actually 2 bullets in this gun.
Yeah,
you know?
I do want to shoot him, but also...
But
Or
wait,
you could
there's
even
more.
just beaten. What is it, Higgins?
Higgins, yeah.
Could have just beaten Higgins to death with the gun if you wanted to save ammunition.
He doesn't have the strength for that.
Yeah, no, he's
That's
atrophied, remember? Or not.
I
That's
just
why Jayne
won
walloped
so
him.
easily. I love that he fucking got a knife in the chest and was fine.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Yeah.
Speaking of... No, not speaking of anything.
Moving on.
I thought the Inara plot was interesting, and I thought the way it was framed with this kid was interesting, because from the way his dad is introducing him, I expected it to be like a, but I want to sing! not like, oh, he just isn't good with women. Like, I expected he was gonna be like, I just don't...
Well, where do you...
For whatever reason, I just don't want to have sex
It
with
doesn't
women.
seem like you can just go out to the club on this planet.
Right.
Like I don't know what his
Yeah,
dad
I was gonna
expects.
say, what women are there for him?
Yeah, that's a
That's
good point, because you
yeah.
probably have to, like, do the courtship thing and do the...
It seems like there's this kid, his dad, and the slaves.
Well,
and
he's
like that's
probably,
the population.
He's
I mean-
probably sent him to off-world cotillions and stuff. They're
Like in
rich.
Yeah, but
Shindig.
considering, like, the time period that everything seems to be, like, taking place in-ish, like, people probably aren't often doing the premarital
No,
sex.
that's the one thing that is different, is they're all
Oh.
bumping uglies constantly.
Well,
Yikes.
so speaking of the time period, that's something I also thought of about why some of these outer planets seem so backwards. Is that, again, going back to American West, like a lot of the things that allowed the interior of the country to sort of get the modern industrialization benefits was transportation. The railroad.
Right.
So you got to figure that getting from planet to planet is probably not the easiest thing unless you have a ship.
Yeah.
Which is possibly also why, like, the rich people who probably can go about from planet to planet are
Doing all the sex.
doing all the sex, having all the monies.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
just...
not impossible to get a ship for somebody who doesn't have means. I mean, certainly we see no end of loathsome types that have their own ships.
Oh, yeah.
They're actually mostly who we've seen so
Yeah.
A
far.
lot of those.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Out of Gas in a couple minutes. But anyway, no, just talking about Fess, who's 26, and his father is shaming him by
His father's
by
a dick.
I don't know. It's really uncomfortable.
His father
Actually,
bought him, like, the top priced prostitute you can get.
yeah, because he's ashamed of
Companion.
him.
Companion.
Because and that's it's really bothersome because there, as we said, like, there's plenty of reasons why he may still be a virgin, and when it first came up, I was like, oh no, please don't let this be a homosexual thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
felt
going to be
like
very
it was
uncomfortable, and they're going to do it wrong.
It felt like it would be like a gay conversion episode, basically, and it was just like, what is happening? But I was kind of glad it wasn't.
Yeah, but then Inara makes it this big thing to say, like, oh, it's not sex that makes you a man. Because, he wakes up and he's like, well, I don't feel any different. I'm just a little more tired because we went for a very long time.
If I do say so myself.
Not
to blow my own horn.
There were 3 pumps.
I picture it's almost like, is everyone here seen The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No.
Do you care if I spoil it?
I don't fucking care.
He has sex at the end.
What?
But the gag though is like,
is that how like never been kissed? He gets kissed at the end.
the first time it's like a couple of seconds.
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds.
And his wife is just like, but then he does better.
Gross.
I figure it's maybe kind of like that.
But no, like Anar makes it this big deal. Say, oh no, it's not sex that makes you a man. It's it's what you do with your life, and it's your works and all this bullshit. It's what's growing up in that regard, and he does this noble thing of freeing their ship and bullshit. And I look at this then and I say that then why did you need them to have sex?
I think
you didn't.
You really didn't, and I think it saddens his life a little bit because now it's like, well, we've diminished your manhood by making so much of a big deal of you having sex, and I don't know. I feel like the meat of this is wrong.
Well, I think it helped to have it reflect that. Yes, ultimately, this is not going to be important. Sex is not. People put a lot of importance on this, but as you realize now that you've done it, it's not as important as your father has made it out to be, and what you will have to learn for yourself is these things.
Well, it ends up being like, oh, now that you've had sex, though, now you're able to do the thing, and it's not. That's not how.
Well,
it
They had
is.
26 years of spunk built up, so like.
I don't think it's because they had sex though. I just think it's because he learned something more important than about making love that day.
Yeah.
But he still made love.
Well, yeah. Why porque no los dos?
Yeah, you can have sex and have enlightenment.
Yeah, but the fact that they come at the same time.
He's
Yeah.
also like a life coach in addition to being.
Yeah, that's kind of her role.
But I see what you mean. I think it would have been more meaningful if they hadn't done anything,
like
and he still learned the lesson.
Yeah.
And
Did he not want to though?
Because he seems like he does. He meets Inara and is like, yeah, sure.
It seems like,
God, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it
because
seems to
his
me
dad
like.
wants
And
him
also,
to, though, and
well,
that's
you're
weird.
projecting a lot onto him though. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think maybe he's a kind of an awkward guy who doesn't probably normally talk to women.
The only thing that was weird to me is he kind of looked enough like Simon that for a split
Right.
second I was confused.
like his cousin or something. Like that could
Just
have been.
put Kaylee in this room. She'll be fine.
Yikes.
It is super convenient in the story that
Yeah.
Inara happens to be
Yeah.
in this household, and
Well, but that's like also like the whole point of her character is that she like opens
Right.
doors. Like that's her whole character. She's not a sexy
She's the
lamp.
ambassador.
She's like a sexy key.
right. But on this town where Jayne is a hero for having
Yeah.
stolen
That's
from him, I see it more as like it almost feels like Charles Dickens, where like it's so convenient to the plot.
No
Welcome
one's
to
name
television.
no one's name is crazy enough for it to be Dickens.
Mm.
Mr. Cumbershoot! And oh god,
Cumbershoot.
no, I didn't think that through.
I think that was his surname, wasn't it?
Yeah, you just get rid of the R. Just come be shoot.
I mean, he did put a masturbation joke in Oliver Twist, so no, was it Oliver Twist or was it one of the other ones?
Is the title the
Yeah, I was
masturbation
gonna
joke?
say, like,
No, but there's a character with the surname Bates.
That's in
No.
Downton Abbey.
no,
Masturbation joke. I call it the aristocrats.
the
Charles
the tall
Dickens.
guy and the small people and the Gulliver's Travels.
I almost said Gilligan's
masturbates.
Island. What
I
the
could
fuck?
have sworn it was Dickens.
Yeah.
I definitely almost said Gilligan's Island.
Either way, when people try to claim they didn't tell dirty jokes in the past, they are lying.
Yeah.
Has any of them read Shakespeare?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Nothing but
Shakespeare is
dick
pretty
jokes.
filthy.
Well, that's the thing, though.
Are
His
you
are
bawdy?
his are in Middle English, so we don't realize it.
Middling English? Wow.
Oh no, but there is a Master Bates in Oliver Twist as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Charlie Bates.
Cool.
I call him Chucky.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you a
No.
great joke. It's not a joke. It's a little side story. So
Is it about masturbation?
So there was this the CEO of my company is this guy's name is Charles something. I won't say his last name.
Bates.
Dickens.
Charles Bates. And like all week this week, we've been having a on our calendars. There's a like, oh, because he's kind of new. It's like, oh, he wants to meet all the employees. So our little team is going to have a small group meeting with Charles. And all week this week, I've been saying, oh yeah, everybody all excited to talk to Chuck. Talk to Chuck. I kept saying talk to Chuck, like Charles Schwab ads say talk to Chuck.
I honestly
and like obviously this guy, he's a very wealthy CEO of a major corporation, so he goes by Charles. But of course, we walk into the room, and the first thing that happens is one of my coworkers goes up and says, "Oh, you must be Chuck." and he immediately, without skipping a beat, just corrects him. Actually, it's Charles.
So basically,
he's Charles in charge, not
he's Charles in charge, not Chuck.
You socially engineered somebody into an awkward situation.
Yep.
You're like that.
Do you want their job or?
No, I just thought it was hilarious.
You're like that.
I just want them to leave.
I hope they listen to this podcast.
You're like that deleted scene from Nemesis when Riker tells the milquetoast new first officer that Picard prefers being called Jean-Luc. And he just hi Jean-Luc.
Yes. Yeah, it was it was quite amusing.
Did you also tell him that Riker is from Canada?
Do we have any other thoughts on Jaynestown?
Let's find out.
Jaynestown.
Oh, yeah. How does landlocking work?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because I'm very confused.
They put a boot on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems to be like a digital boot.
A space boot.
Like
it's
some
are
sort
they
of
attached?
Could be like a
Were they
force
on some
field?
kind of like landing pad or
Could
something?
they have just landed elsewhere? Like,
Why didn't they just land on the other side of the
No,
town where
if
the
it's-
things
if-
were buried?
If it's like a boot, it's portable and they could just do it anywhere.
no, I don't think it was a physical thing though.
Yeah, no, it feels like there was something
Oh, it wasn't a
overriding
physical
his...
thing.
No,
Yeah.
it was like I assumed it was
Something
like
like
they were
radio.
Oh.
well, I assumed they were like maybe on a landing pad and like there was some function of the landing pad that was holding them there.
Yeah, it wasn't made
It's
explicit,
just a
but...
giant magnet.
That's really, like, literally, that could have been all it would take, like, that's...
And they couldn't land near...
Electromagnet, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jake, they couldn't land near where the stuff was, because first, they didn't know where it
They'd
was.
sink into the mud.
Second, they had to meet their contact, who they didn't know was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was all
Don't you hate when
that.
that happens?
I'm surprised the magistrate didn't fire the anti-aircraft guns at their ship when they left.
He was too busy being perplexed by his child's rebellion.
Perhaps.
Yeah, he probably would have, but he was too busy, yeah.
Oh, he really became a man today in many fucking ways.
Last time I get one of my children laid.
All right, Star Trek II, the
Out of
Search for
Gas.
Spock.
So, in Out of Gas, the Serenity's engines have kerploded because of a compression coil or something.
It was like a...
It was like a
catalytic something.
Yeah, it was the catalyzer, but it was related to the compression coil.
Yeah, so some of the compression coil hoodly. The engine had blown up, so they don't have any life support, which means whatever oxygen they have on the ship is all that's left, and a lot of it was eaten up by a fire.
Oh my God.
Jayne noted, which was impressive, because he's thick as a brick
But
most
my
of the time.
God, that fucking effect.
So they eventually, so we actually start tabula rasa. Nathan Fillion is stumbling around the ship, bleeding and gasping for air, holding a new compression coil. We get occasional flashbacks to him, to, how he bought the ship, how he hired Wash and his terrible mustache, and the original mechanic, and all this stuff. And in the interim, we find out what happens with the ship, and all the plans, and all the shouting. And ultimately, Mal's all right, well, we got these short-range shuttles. 4 people onto one, 4 on the other. I'll stay with the ship in case somebody shows up. Somebody does show up. They do a deal for a compression thingus. They come on board. They shoot Mal. Mal's like, fuck that noise. He makes them leave, but leave the compression doodly. He installs a new compression doodly. Passes out before he can send the signal, but luckily they came back anyway. And everything's fine.
Well, you figure if you're going to die anyway, you might as well go back and disobey Captain's orders.
Yeah. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
I wasn't paying any attention to what you were saying.
Ugh.
Close
God.
it off then!
You missed the part with fucking lots and lots of adrenaline needles directly to the heart, which did not make Caitlin a happy camper.
So
I'll tell
let's talk about Wash's mustache.
Yeah.
Do we
Wow.
have have to.
Something I don't like about him. Yeah, that fucking mustache.
He learned.
I mean, it's a pilot thing.
You think Zoe made him shave
It's
it
a
off?
pilot
I'm
thing?
certain she made
pilots?
him.
Pilots.
That was like
wear
their first
mustaches.
date. They
Yeah.
go to bed together. And she's like, first, let's take a shower. And then she's like,
Oh, it's like what Troy did with Riker.
yes! I'm sorry, I hit you. I'm sorry, Ames. I got very excited. Yes, I was trying to think of where I had recently seen that, and I forgot entirely that it was Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably like a compromise. He got to keep his Hawaiian shirt and like
his dinosaurs.
and his dinosaurs, and he just had to get rid of the mustache.
Keep
So-
keep the dinosaurs, leave the eyesore.
Which
It's
was
all good.
for the best because that mustache did not suit him.
no, not at all.
No, I think that, and I
That
think
was
that
a
was
mustache.
part of the joke, right?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, it was a bad mustache.
Yeah, in fact, when Zoe's like, there's something I don't like about him. It was just the mustache.
I see. What would have been really great is if, like, in all of the flashbacks, everybody had a mustache.
Even Zoe.
Somehow, like, that's
Zoe has one. Jayne has one on top of his goatee.
a weird side effect of his oxygen-starved brain is that he remembers everyone with mustaches.
Yes, Kaylee.
Oh my god.
Himself.
When Inara is negotiating,
Oh my God.
dancing around, yeah.
Can we like? Is there a way to put video through like one of those like Snapchat,
Like a Snapchat
Yeah.
filter?
filters
Yes.
and
Yes,
actually
there is.
make this happen somehow?
Yeah.
I
I would
bet.
like to see this.
Yeah.
Well, Justice is the man with
Yeah,
the skills.
I think
bet
I
he
need
can
you
make
to
it
do
happen
that
Just,
for me.
just deep fake it for us. That's
Yeah.
a word I've heard thrown around lately.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
can
what
do
is
that.
it?
Deep fake.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that
When-
mean?
It's when you can like make it look like somebody who like was never saying these things was actually like it's a really really good.
It's like photoshopping but with video.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
But I think it's all like computer
future is amazing.
done. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
And there's
It's
a lot of
amazing and terrifying.
Yeah,
It
there's
has
a lot
of
of conspiracy theories surrounding
The
them.
thing
There's a lot
is-
of Trumpers who think that
It's still...
mainstream media is doing it.
God, drop
Oh,
all
no.
your fucking assholes.
And the problem, of course, it's still quite nascent, so it's still obvious when you're looking at one.
Yeah.
Something's not quite right.
But yeah.
It's like
Here's the
Data's
thing.
face.
Let's think about it for a second. You know which Avengers movie was it where they made like young Tony Stark and you could still see something about the eyes and the teeth that wasn't quite right?
Oh,
that was with
It looks even better than that, I'd say.
Oh, really? I was
Yeah.
gonna say, well, but here's the thing, though. That's like a gajillion-dollar film.
Yeah.
Nothing that the fake news on the left. No one's gonna fucking spend $1 billion to do this shit. Be
And
serious, you morons.
No one has as much money as Marvel right now, not even the government. So.
But it's also, it's sort of the idea that, like, well, because that technology does exist, how can you trust anything, right?
Anywho,
I don't trust anything.
What else?
I like this episode.
Yeah, this
It's
episode
probably one of my favorites.
I think
This
it's
is
a
a
top.
generally well-liked
Yeah.
episode, and I don't care for it.
Ooh.
Ooh, me neither.
Dissenting opinions.
Well,
We
so
have-
far you've only liked one episode, Chris.
Well, see,
and
but
that begrudgingly.
In this
so-
case, though, there's a different reason. This is a kind of story I hate.
Yeah.
Really, that's a shame because I like a device like this. That's interesting.
The device isn't bad. I think the story is necessary. I think it actually will save them time later in the series where they don't have to go back and do everybody's backstory individually. But
Don't worry, there's only 3 episodes left of the series.
yeah,
so.
exactly. Like as creating the episode, you like if you are assuming that you are going to keep on making television, this saves you time to do actually better episodes in the long
Yeah.
run.
Well,
But
it's
I-
like skipping the bullshit with getting the band back together. So
Yeah.
they did it right in this case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should specify the flashbacks are fine. I find like survival stories like this, especially in a running television show where you know everyone's going to be fine in the end, kind of dull. And I was saying like the real problem is I like Enterprise, but they
That's
do
the real
like
problem.
5 or 6.
You know what's
We've
funny?
gotta
I basically
Mhm.
said the same thing when he said that. I was like, really? That's the problem?
But in the first season, they do a lot of like, we're stranded somewhere with dwindling supplies episodes, and it's like, oh my god, we get it.
I mean, we see that in all kinds of fucking things. Like we saw that in TOS. We see that in
Yeah.
TNG. We see that in every fucking. Series
No, that's what I'm
that
saying.
exists.
This isn't a Firefly thing. Whenever anyone does a story like this, I kind of lose interest
Well,
right
that's
away.
here's the thing about Whedon, though. Like, if you've watched his other series, like, he's not afraid to kill people. He
Yeah.
will do that. So, as somebody who is coming to this having seen other things that he had done, I was like, oh, well, someone could die. Maybe not everybody dies,
That's-
but
and
maybe
that's-
someone does.
I suppose in the initial run it may have been because I know everyone gets
Right.
to
yeah.
the movie. So for
Yeah.
me, it was just like, yeah, this is like when everyone else does one of these. But yes, you're right. In the initial run, maybe there was more tension there.
Well, I also do feel like it's very clear up front that this is a flashback episode.
Yeah.
And that, like, it's not really about will Mal survive. It's
I
a
know.
vehicle to tell this story, and it's a vehicle to, like, it's more how does he survive?
Yeah, we've talked about that before a lot.
Yeah.
With it's not they tell you in the fucking prologue of Romeo and Juliet, they die.
Yeah.
Fuck them, they're idiot kids. But then you watch it anyway to see like what happened, like how it's going to be done. It's like how you go see movies or you see plays that you already know the story because you want to see how it's going to be done.
It's like how at the beginning of Columbo, we all know who did it. We just want to know how he figures it out.
Exactly, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
That's a tailored for Chris example.
Like, so much entertainment is not the will they, but how they.
Yeah.
The journey, not the destination.
Yeah,
if
it's
you
just,
will.
for me, a survival journey is one I never want to go on.
I find
Same.
the frame for the flashbacks is just uninspiring. I don't find the threat particularly interesting.
Although I gotta say, man, there's two things about this episode that pissed me off.
Mal should have gotten that compression cable when Kaylee first asked for it.
Well, she asked for it like in the first episode, which
Oh,
I do
yeah,
like
she
that there's
did.
a callback that
And then
like
she apologizes for it. It's not her
that
fault.
she's been bitching about the
It's
compression
come up- it's
coil
come
like
up-
literally since the
it's
start
come
of the
up
series.
twice before, yeah.
And like every time Mal's like, yeah, keep it in the air, we'll be fine. It's like no,
That's
like
not how mechanical things work, dude.
You know, like they even established in this episode that she's a genius mechanic who can just look at something and know what's broken, and you should probably listen to her when she tells you something is about to break. But anyway, that's not what pissed me off. What pissed me off are two things. The fucking fire snake. Every time I see the show, the fucking fire snake that comes out of the engine room and snakes its way.
Doesn't seem very realistic.
That is not
at
what
all.
happens when you starve a fire. It just burns out.
That was convenient.
Jesus Christ.
I have to go back and look at
Oh,
that
like it's
effect,
terrible.
'cause I
So
don't
there's this
remember
big
it
fire. There's this
specifically.
fire raging in the engine room, and then they open the door on the ship to vent the air out, and the fire forms a snake through the ship out the door and then dissipates.
But so would the idea not just be that it is following the oxygen? I mean, I know
That's
it's
not
not
the
realistic,
idea, and that's
but
the
that's
visual-
the idea,
That's
right?
more visually interesting, I guess.
No, it's just.
Well, but it
looks
also
dumb.
explains to the audience who might not understand fire, like, what they've done and why they've done it. Like,
Yeah.
we're doing this because it gets it the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm
I don't
not
know.
giving them any points.
You are not wrong that it is stupid.
It is so stupid.
But there are certainly reasons why they may have chosen
The
that.
other
Just
thing that I
there's
really
worse to
dislike
do
about
than
this
that.
episode is the situation with the bandits, right?
The
So
wet bandits?
yes,
That they
so
could have waited 10
sticky
minutes
minutes.
when Mal collapsed. And
they could
come back in.
they could have waited 10 minutes, or they could have
Easily overpowered him even if he had a gun.
Exactly.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking too.
Like-
All of them have fucking guns. One guy with a gun, and they're like, you know what? Back it up slowly.
Like
It might hurt my
there was
pretty
no
face.
reason to shoot him. Also, right? Like they could have just grabbed him, and taken
That's
him
your
aboard
plan?
their
Get
ship,
him?
or put him out the airlock. I don't know. There's just, and then the fact that he gets the gun, and then they're all just like, well, I guess you win.
It's not like,
Oh, we didn't think we would come up against so bright a contender.
and it's a pistol.
Yeah.
It's not like
And
he's got a machine gun or a thermal
and
detonator.
they all have guns.
Some of them have bigger guns.
It's that scene in Aladdin. He's got a sword. You idiots. We've
We've
all got swords.
Yeah, that the whole that which sucks, right? Because that's kind of the whole setup to the episode is that he's shot, but they couldn't. The writers just couldn't fathom a way for him to get shot that wasn't entirely ridiculous.
Yeah.
When I saw that he was bleeding and I forgot what had happened with the bandits that come aboard, I'm like, he tries to fix the ship, but then the ship backfires and somehow he gets crunched in the engine.
That's what
Goddamn fire
Yeah.
snake.
I
At
thought-
it again.
Yeah, the fire snake bit him.
I thought that's what it was going to be. With some sort of mechanical failure caused some,
Because he's no Kaylee.
self-stealing symbol to
Yeah.
shoot into
Right.
his
A
gun.
mechanical failure would have been a cooler idea.
Yeah.
Uh,
It would have gone with the episode.
But then he wouldn't have gotten the part he needs.
yeah.
That Kaylee's been asking for,
But
for years.
that being said, there's a lot to like about some of the flashbacks. I really like Kaylee's flashback.
Oh, she's lovely.
Yeah.
She's so
Me too,
funny.
except why is she sleeping with that fucking loser mechanic who doesn't know anything?
I think
He's
that
got a big
Haley is
cock.
open
he's
with her body.
attractive and she just wants to do it.
Yeah.
You
nothing
know,
wrong
they're
with
both
that.
consenting, then
It is
Oh,
like
bad.
I do wish like
I
maybe
just feel like
he
she could
just-
do better, that's all.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, well, also,
100%.
she likes ships. And she wants to get, and he's like, I have a ship. Would you like to come on my
Yeah,
ship?
she did it.
And she was like, not very likely.
It would be nice if maybe he was just showing her the engine room, though.
I mean, I'm sure that's how it started.
She really, he revved up her engines with the engine talk, that's all, right?
It was funny watching her completely outclass him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because, and what's his name again?
Fester.
Fester, or...
Bester, yeah.
Is it Bester?
Fester.
Oh.
I also
Well,
like
Fester
that
was
since-
taken.
Since they show her like pining after like Simon for so much of the series, like I like the fact that she was in control. She was better than that guy.
Yeah.
She was smarter than him at what his job was. Like that was nice for them to do that with her flashback.
He does look like a space surfer, not an
Yeah.
engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me curious, like, what her relationship with her family is. Because, she says, oh, yeah, I'll come on board your ship and be your mechanic. Let me just tell my parents that I'm just going to go live on a ship and probably never see them again and might die in space.
I feel like that's a pretty standard thing for a lot of kids on these outer planets.
Yeah.
Is it like, hey, I've been offered a place on a ship. They're leaving, tomorrow, and Dad's like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, the parents are probably.
Well, plus it's one
Let
less
me
mouth
buy you
to
a
feed,
prostitute.
right? Like
Exactly.
because it sounds like they're already a family of mechanics, and yeah, it's great to have her on board, but they probably all at least know enough to get by.
She was of
And-
leaving age.
Right, and plus, if they send her away, they don't have to pay her dowry or whatever, which I
Right,
assume
right.
is some fucking stupid thing they're doing since
Well,
we're in weird.
Well, yeah, that's probably the other thing too.
Old-timey
is that, like,
times.
because we can assume that these planets are like old timey West things. There's probably like shame brought upon her family for having a spinster daughter.
Who's like doing mannish things, like working
Yeah.
on machines too,
Send her into space. That'll fix the problem.
But yeah, presumably one or both of her parents had been spacers before they were working at this port.
Yeah.
Where they were, so it's probably always figured one day she'd come home and say, "Found a ship."
Yeah, I'm going to assume the best of Kaylee's family because she seems like she's got her head on straight.
Well,
seems
she's
like
definitely the
raised
most
alright.
fucking well-adjusted human on this whole show.
Oh,
She's,
absolutely.
she's got her head on straight, except when Simon is anywhere near her.
Then
Yeah,
she's a complete fucking idiot.
if you haven't met a young woman who hasn't gotten her head wrong about a boy,
That's true. Or a girl, or
Yeah,
a person.
that's true.
Look.
Whomever they are.
When he's not talking, Simon is very attractive.
Is he?
Not for me.
I don't really.
He's alright.
I don't.
That
I-
chin. Not a fan of that chin.
Oh, dude, we fucking completely forgot. Was it in Jaynestown that they like fell asleep all over each other?
Oh,
They
yeah.
did, which was
Oh,
stupid
I
and dumb.
forgot
And that
Oh,
was and
no,
that was
I
the
would
second...
never with her.
Yeah, and
What do
that's
you
the
mean
second.
never?
Exactly, that's the second time. That we see him being a complete fucking dipshit and pissing her
Well,
off.
I think
Two
that was-
strikes, Simon.
Sorry, that's the thing about Simon and Kaylee's family. Kaylee likes family, and Simon clearly cares about family. She's always loved that he takes care of River.
Way to defend your ship, man.
Yeah, he's really. I mean, I don't care for Simon that much.
Like I said, he's curious
Yeah.
when he's shutting up.
You know what? He gets points because Kaylee likes him. That's pretty much it.
That's
Yeah.
actually
That's
Yeah.
fair.
It's but
Rescued sister.
She's
Kaylee
human.
likes him.
She's human credentials, as my friend Mindy would say.
Yeah.
If she likes him, then there's got to be something to like about him.
I
Yeah.
think what it is with the whole I would never thing in so much, it's that he probably feels like Mal would murder him.
Yeah, we've already talked about Mal as like the big brother or possibly even like weird kind of father figure thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's
So
the
like you definitely don't want to tell your bud, yeah, dude, I totally would bone your sister, your little
Yeah.
sister. That's
Yeah.
just not. It's not
Yeah.
done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I assume I'm not a boy. I don't have any little sisters, but
I mean, I
it's
will
my
say
understanding.
I'm
that
the
like
baby.
having watched this at like 18 and 19ish, like I had a total crush on Simon. Like, but looking back on it, he is just not.
Looking back on it, you've married Wash.
Yes, apparently that is what I've done.
But you look at the men on the ship. You got
Yeah.
Jayne, who
Yeah, like who is she?
Wash, who's married, Mal, who no,
Yeah.
A man of the cloth.
a man of the cloth, and this relatively pretty guy who just needs to learn to talk less.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, plus he's learned and stuff, which she probably doesn't see a lot. Like the guys on the ship. Well, Jayne's a fucking idiot.
yeah.
Mal is like obviously clever, but he's not book learning smart.
Well, no, it's amazing how many crises could have been avoided if Mal knew anything about any of the planets they were going to.
She's an engineer of the ship. He's an engineer of the body.
Yeah.
And he saves her life.
I forgot about that. There's that too.
All right, so hold on. So real quick then.
Doesn't hurt.
But she already had a little crush on him.
Quick,
before then.
quick
That's
survey
true.
of the rest of you. Marry, fuck, kill.
Ooh.
Wash, Simon, Mal.
Kill Mal. Fuck Simon. Marry Wash.
I think mine's the exact same. So.
Okay, but marrying implies also fucking, right?
I'm not gonna fuck Simon. I'm gonna kill Simon. I'm gonna fuck Mal.
That's me.
I'm with
Yeah.
Justice.
I would
yeah.
marry
Good
Wash.
God. I feel
Kill Simon, fuck Mal.
What is wrong with you people?
Okay, look, have you watched the first episode of this show recently?
Yes.
Because I still have not gotten over the bad taste it left in my mouth for Mal.
I know, but you have to remember that it's a pilot.
I know.
That would be like if you based your opinion
Wait,
of Spock.
Jake hasn't answered this question
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
I mean, I posed the question. I don't have
Yeah,
to
no,
answer
you need to
it.
answer.
know,
No, we
Yeah.
also would
Yeah.
like to know.
Let's see. Marry, fuck, kill. All right. Fuck, Wash.
Just to be different.
Just to be different.
Well, he'll like you. He likes warrior women.
Kill Simon, marry Mal. Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
See, like
Mal would definitely like all your dick jokes.
Wait,
I
what
feel like.
did you?
I agree with Justice.
Okay.
yeah.
But I also think this isn't my game because I don't like fucking. Were you crying just then, Jake? No, it's like no. I'd rather have a relate. Like I don't want to just fuck people I don't know.
Oh, neither do I.
Well,
But
this is
but
not
gun
an
to my head.
actual scenario.
Yeah.
A, they're physical. They're fictional characters, and B,
Yeah, but that's why you say. That's why I say marry and fuck are the same fucking thing. Because I'd want to be in a relationship with someone who I would intend to be in a relationship with.
well,
Are you guys married?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, now same thing, but Jayne, Beaver, or
Ooh.
some other hideous
What's
character.
a beaver? Who the fuck is beaver?
Badger.
The B.
Badger, not
Badger.
Beaver.
Oh man, I would
I thought
definitely
you were
fuck
trying to say
Badger.
a reaver.
I feel like Badger would like stick a finger in your bum on the DL.
Oh.
Wait.
Just
Which one's Badger?
He's the one with the
Badger's the-
bowler.
Oh,
Irish
right.
one.
And
He's
who's
the guy from
English one.
So when you were saying
George
Jayne,
Natural.
when you were saying Jayne and Badger, I was like, you mean from fucking Breaking Bad? It's like Kristen Ritter. What's his name? Oh,
and Skinny Pete.
and Skinny Pete.
Definitely marry Skinny Pete.
Yeah, Skinny Pete's a
I
sweetheart.
He can
Oh,
play the
God.
piano like
well,
no
I
one.
was thinking fuck, marry, or kill Zoe,
Oh, River,
Kaylee, and no,
Kaylee.
not River. I don't.
No.
I feel like
Yeah,
because we're all just gonna kill her.
Yeah.
yeah.
and
Zoe,
Inara.
Inara.
yeah, Kaylee Inara.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a hard choice.
That is, because I
Kill
honestly
any of
don't
them.
want to kill any of them.
I just
Yeah,
don't want to
no.
be attempting to
I'm
kill
not sure I wanna-
Zoe because I think she would kill me first.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's also assuming that you are able to do it.
Mm.
yeah. Kaylee's such a sweetheart. We'll marry her. I think we're gonna. It's a coin toss.
Who you fuck or kill with that is sort of like a who's gonna wash your feet and treat you gently, and who's just gonna fucking
Who's gonna stomp on your balls?
exactly.
And it really depends on where you're.
I know what
you
I guess.
like.
I
right?
guess I'm a little gentler, so I'll fuck Inara.
I think I would actually kill Inara.
I think
I'm gonna
Zoe
kill
for the
Inara.
fucking.
I'm with you.
I think I will too.
Yeah.
I think
Because-
marry Kaylee because she's delightful and
Yeah.
and yeah, fuck Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm with that because also like if assuming Inara in real life is just the version of a human being that's played by a terrible actor, then
Miranda Baccarin isn't terrible.
she's in this show. She is.
She has a lot of trouble in this show, but she got a lot better. I think she was a lot better in Homeland.
Listen, also like she's very pretty. That's her role.
She is
Her role
very
is
pretty,
like
but,
be
like-
very pretty and
Which is
graceful,
kind of a
and she
shame.
does
I
a
have
really
one
good
job on this ship.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's
you know-
stupid. It's to have sex with the children of dictators so I can save my friends.
Well, like that's another thing about Joss Whedon shows is that he will get people who are raw and shape them into better actors,
or not, as it turns out in her case.
Yeah, I mean he didn't get the chance to. Like I think at the beginning of Buffy,
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No, Sarah Michelle Gellar is actually, I think, pretty good. But I think
Charisma Carpenter.
David
Charisma
Voorhees.
Carpenter is rough at the beginning of Buffy.
She gets a lot better. She develops comic timing.
Yeah.
Like, she's good.
But I think even like Allison Hannigan is like kind of one note. She's good, but she doesn't have range.
Which
Who's
one's that?
Allison Hannigan?
Well, she plays.
She puts a flute up her pussy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And she
It's the first
she
time I've ever
develops
said that
a
word.
wide range,
No, it's
and I
not.
think she's a great.
She said
actress
flute
now.
before.
So
That's
wait,
literally the line from the movie.
speaking of marriage, there was a note I saw on your card names, which rather caught me off guard.
Oh yeah. So Zoe, who is, how did she get injured again? I forgot.
She got hit by the fire snake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
got
pushed
bitten
The,
by a
the
fire.
pushed somebody
first
out of the way,
fire
right?
snake hit her.
Yeah, she got snaked.
Who did she push out of the way, though? River or Kaylee?
Kaylee, I think.
Yeah, no one will push River out of the way. Let the
Except
snake
Simon.
eat her.
Simon probably would.
Yeah, but Zoe is barely in this episode, and she's unconscious via fire snake for most of it because the actress
Gina Torres.
Gina Torres was off on her honeymoon.
Money
On her honeymoon with Lawrence Fishburne.
I had no idea she was married until Lawrence.
Yeah, no, that's when I read that on the card. I had to stop myself from like going, "What?"
Gina Torres is great, and she's great in this throughout all of it.
Oh, she's
And I want to sing her praises
Yeah,
because
she is very good.
she doesn't get a lot of work, I think, or at least I don't see her in a lot of things. But
It's too bad. She's amazing.
she's great in this. She's great. She has a really fun part in Angel. Just recently, I saw her on an episode of A Black Lady Sketch Show, which is on HBO.
Yeah, that
and
was
she
really
was really, really fun.
Is that actually what it's called?
It's called
Yes,
A
and
Black
it's
Lady
very good.
Sketch Show.
Okay, I'm
Everyone
really
should be
glad
watching
because
it.
I was like, I hope that's actually what it's called,
This
and
is
not
not
just.
what Justice just says about A Black Lady Sketch Show in general,
Nah.
but specifically about A Black Lady Sketch Show.
Apparently, she
Just
did
wanted to
10
make sure.
episodes of a show called Pearson, which may or may not have.
She was the lead in it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was on an episode of some court show.
I mean, she'd be
with-
perfect for.
I've
like
been
that
on
kind
some
of
court
drama.
show.
has-
please.
Oh,
Yeah,
that might
they-
be Pearson. Attorney Jessica Pearson enters the complex and seedy world of Chicago politics.
Which maybe that's coming out because it says 2019.
Yeah, no, this would have been like 10 years
next
ago
episode
at
is
least.
September 11th, so that's
Anyway,
the first
yeah, I look-
episode.
Yeah.
maybe?
I look at Zoe
Oh,
in this
good.
episode.
I'm glad that she's getting work.
Yeah, I look at Zoe in this episode and I kind of subtitled it, Zoe makes bad decisions. Because first she just has to come with Mel on this ship in the first place after she looks at it and says, Jesus fucking Christ.
And then she marries the mustache man.
She marries a mustache.
Do you know?
And then also, like, when she does wake up and they're on the two shuttlecrafts.
Yeah, she orders the shuttle back
Why?
to probably
To go die?
Well, yes, because
She's
as
blaming
has
herself,
been
probably.
established continuously in this show, her loyalty to Mal outweighs everything else in her life.
It's her
Including
character
logic.
flaw.
And there's,
we establish
there's kind of
why?
a whole episode about that pretty soon.
Oh, is there? Okay, I was gonna say, like, does he save her life? Like, why does this happen? Does she poop in his Cheerios and she has to make up for it
Well,
forever?
like, I mean, they were like in the war together.
Well, I know
Yeah,
that.
and he was her commanding officer.
Well, yeah, but that on its own isn't enough
But,
unless
but,
she's
you know,
just so
for
shell
the-
shocked that she can't life.
For the kind of there's some kind of personalities that they like having that person that's like, hey, I'm in charge, and she like even with a strong personality like hers, they like being the second in command, and even when he's making strange choices like buying a Firefly ship, and it's not as good as she might think. She's like, all right, you're the boss.
Like, Riker ordered people back onto the Borg cube to rescue Locutus. So, I mean, it's not unheard of for their second in command to take extraordinary risks.
She might also have that code of honor where she's like, well, I want to go
Code of
down with
honor.
the ship.
Ugh.
Sorry.
I do resent Mal for not going with the sweet 50s rocket ship.
Yeah.
Son, are you listening? Did you hear a word I said?
It's like, holy shit, it's the ship from Tintin, only it's yellow. Like, it was so 50s. I loved it.
But man,
I noticed the shuttlecrafts of the Firefly look like little ladybugs. And
Aw.
I was like, that's fitting.
Oh.
And this is the episode where Inara has, like, her suicide pills, right? Is it?
No, that's the
Oh, spoiler alert. Or
that's
it already happened.
the pilot.
Yeah, we saw that in the pilot.
They never get around to explaining what it is.
Oh, I see.
That was
Okay.
being saved for later.
Got it.
But later it didn't happen.
So many table-setting things.
Yeah, I read that the intention, and this is really fucking dark and awful, was that with those pills was
Oh yeah, I read this.
was that it makes whoever has sex with you die in some horrible way.
Whoa.
So when the Reavers get on a ship in one episode,
Oh.
I'm gonna read between the lines and be horrified.
Oh no, that is explicitly what it was supposed to be. There's no line reading.
Wait, so... Oh, wow. So she would have been trying to take a Reaver with her, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or more than one, who knows?
Well, yeah, probably more than one. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it's dark. It's super, super
Oh,
dark.
it is, but I
Yeah,
like
it's the
it.
first
As a
time I've
detail,
heard
I
this.
really enjoy it.
It does look like a little ladybug. It's cute.
Why did the ships... So the reason why they couldn't get help right away was because they had flown into
Middle of
uncharted-
nowhere.
Yeah, Wash had created like the best route for them to not come across any other people who might notice that they're doing something bad and oh fuck, we need help.
Yeah.
So they send off the ladybug ships in literally in directions perpendicular to the ship.
Random direction.
Yeah.
So you think they would have been able to chart the way out of the briar patch,
Weren't all their systems down, basically?
I'm sure they must have known what direction they were coming from.
Well, I mean...
But they've been adrift for a bit at this
Yeah.
point.
But yeah, and those jerks just happened to find them and weren't very jerky.
Yeah.
I wonder if those guys, if the show had gone on, if those people would have been recurring, adversaries,
If they were smart, I think that would have been a good idea.
because that's the only reason I could see for ending it. Having them leave out and have the guy smile like you'd have done it too. Okay, yeah, you're
That's another thing in a lot of Joss Whedon shows is that he'll leave things to come back to later. This is an important detail, and you will get a payoff from this.
Yeah, because it is. I do find that whole scene pretty dumb.
Yeah.
But it would make more sense if it was intended that we're going to encounter these people again, and they're going to cause us trouble in the future. And Mal won't forget. He won't forget what they did to him.
All right.
He won't take the sky from me.
So Joss Whedon has that show coming out on HBO in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it a new show?
He's got a new show coming out. It's the first original thing he's done since Dollhouse, I think.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and because he's
Wait,
been working on
Agent of
Marvel
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
things for. Oh yeah, I mean it's his first original property as opposed to.
No, that's what I mean. But
Yeah.
he's been busy with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which
Yeah.
is, 7 seasons?
It's on.
But
I think
was
it's
he
7
actually
seasons.
working on that? I thought that was
He
his
was-
brother.
It was his Jed Whedon or whatever his name is, and what's her name? That was another big collaborator. But the next one is going to be Victorian superheroines, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that sounds like
It's
a
all
bad
right-
idea for
right
him.
up his alley, though, right?
It'll be right up his alley. And I know I'm gonna, because I've just loved everything he's ever done. Otherwise, I'm gonna give it a shot.
How
Is there a tiny woman who will be barefoot?
Almost certain.
Oh yeah.
will it be Summer Glau?
Yes.
I hope not, because Lord knows she just never got any better.
Yeah.
I don't. I just think it was because she didn't get the direction
No,
from
she-
other people. They were just be mysterious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really did like Terminator: Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I heard that was good. I never watched it.
The show was very good, but honestly, that was more Lena Headey. Is that her?
Lena Headey.
Lena
The
Headey.
woman from
from Game of Thrones?
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Yeah, Cersei.
Ah.
You know what? Have you seen Dread?
No.
She's
Oh,
really
yes, I
good in
have.
Dread.
That's the Judge Dredd film. Right?
Yeah,
The one with Carl
Urban.
Urban.
Carl Urban, yeah.
Oh, that's right, because there were two, right?
Yeah, there's the first one was Sly.
And it was not good by all
not good.
accounts.
And the second one, which is good, it's a very beautifully shot movie, and Lena Headey is the villain in it, and she's
Yeah.
very good.
Well, we already know she's a fucking awesome villain, so
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
But no, she was Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
The Sarah Connor
Lena
Chronicles.
Headey was?
Yeah.
Was
I would watch the fuck out of that.
Was Summer Glau a
It's supposed
robot?
to be really
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
Sarah-
she was a
yeah.
Terminatrix.
Yeah.
You know what they
But
should
she
do?
was the good one.
Right.
She was the one that was reprogrammed to be helpful.
I've just had a great idea.
I roll.
They should put Summer, what the fuck's her name, in remakes of all of Daryl Hannah's films because they seem to be about on the same
Yeah, that's
level
probably
of
about right.
like attractive with just a little bit of weird to their looks and their level of
not a
talent.
lot of talent.
I am looking forward to the late-term remake of Kill Bill when Daryl Hannah is
Black Mambo?
she's the nurse.
Oh
I can't
yeah,
remember
that's
her
right.
code name.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost surprised they haven't tried to remake Splash yet.
They were.
At some point they were. I remember them.
I don't know
talking
if they
about that.
are, but I
Yeah.
remember they were going to.
I mean, I feel like Tom Hanks has to have moved on by now, right?
It's just like I'd love if they remade Splash and changed everything except for
Tom
casting
Hanks.
Tom
Oh my
Hanks. All right.
Anything else to say about either of these episodes?
I don't think so.
No. Thank you for allowing me to talk about a show I hadn't watched in many years.
Yeah,
and
this is fun.
Thanks for
really
coming
fun
out.
to come back to it because it hasn't aged as much as great as some shows have, but it still felt really comfortable to come back to. It was absolute comfit television.
And better than Ace Ventura.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, what's really interesting, I think, what I'm finding so far, because I adored this show when I first saw it years and years ago, is that I feel like it's less a victim of itself and more a victim of time.
Yeah.
You know, the show is not any better or worse than it ever was. It's just with context today that we have that we wouldn't have had 15 years ago. It's a difference.
Yeah. And other shows since have grown from it.
Yep.
This is the same problem that Seinfeld suffers from, where people who are watching Seinfeld now are like, Seinfeld's not funny.
Well, yeah,
What?
because
Who the hell says that? Seinfeld's hilarious.
Seinfeld's hilarious, but it did so many things first that other shows have done better or just built on since.
Yeah.
I have an allegory in my own life,
Mhm.
maybe, which is that my whole family, like literally my entire family, my whole life, I thought they were really funny people, and it turns out they were just quoting Eddie Murphy's Delirious. And when I saw Eddie Murphy's Delirious,
so
I was
specific.
like, these are all the fucking jokes that you people tell. What the fuck? I was so mad. Anyway.
It's great that, like, I'm assuming your entire family's white as well.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Quoting Eddie Murphy jokes? That's interesting.
Yeah, I once caught my uncle, telling anecdotes at like a Thanksgiving or a holiday party of some nature, and realizing like during his jokes that wow, all you ever done is tell the jokes that are after the articles in Reader's Digest.
Oh my god.
Oh, but
Wow.
life in these United States, man.
I'm going to say I actually never liked Seinfeld.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
it's fine. It's America. You're free to be wrong.
Yeah. And you're free to vocalize it too.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
I had to say it out loud because the audience can't see the face you were making, which very clearly
Stated
was
for
stating
now, yeah.
for now.
No, so I don't know. I mean,
I haven't read
in honesty, I haven't rewatched Seinfeld since it aired, but I feel like it's still funny.
I watched.
Like, I don't know.
my only thing
watched
is,
I'm
almost-
remembering the jokes, and they were all really
my
good.
thing is, I can't deal with humor that is driven mostly by like awkwardness and embarrassment, and that's
Yeah, I know
so much
people
Which
of
is
that.
why you
I
don't
love
like
that.
Curb, you don't like The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
it's-
like David Cross? I love David Cross.
honestly, I haven't seen much of his work, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know people as
But that's the thing, it's
that's a fair thing. To
Yeah,
say.
it's not
Yes.
that I'd probably like it if not the fact that I'm like one of those people that gets secondhand embarrassment for shit he didn't do. So like watching these people do these things, I'm just cringing
See,
the whole time.
I
and
do
can't
too,
laugh.
but I
See,
love it.
like,
Part
I-
of the joy is being like, "Oh, dude, you fucked up. What's gonna happen?"
Yeah, I had a roommate that was very much like you, and when the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret, which is a David Cross show,
Yeah.
was on, and I thought it was hilarious. She did not want to watch it because she didn't want to see bad things happen to David Cross.
I rewatched most of Seinfeld. Like I want to say, how many seasons was it? 9.
Something like that.
I think I watched like all but like the second half of season 9 because season 9 is a little.
Yeah.
But maybe like 2-3 years ago, I watched everything except those last few episodes, and I thought it
held up.
thought it was still good.
I mean, the thing about Seinfeld, I think, is that they're like the comedy's all very good, but some of it is very dated, and
Yeah.
especially like some of like the racial stuff is very
Yeah, that's
not
fair.
okay.
Well, that's fair, for sure.
Kramer coming home, coming to his girlfriend's house, and he's just been in the tanning booth.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
although-
more.
I will say, when you were watching it, remember looking at it, I was like, wow, they're so much younger here. And I looked it up. I always thought George, like, started the show in his mid-40s. In the first season, he is the age I am now.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa.
Hey,
Wow.
Hey, look at this. You got more hair.
Way more.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Jason Alexander.
Oh, but speaking about weird racial stuff, I would like to.
No.
So let's.
No. I just want to.
See you guys next
Good
week.
segue. Gotta go pick up
Are
Sam.
we going to address the Chinese?
I was gonna say. I just want to make.
Oh, yeah.
Can we add some ticks to our board tracking all of the speaking roles for Asian character?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Still
boy.
failing us there.
Oh,
Yeah.
well. Eventually, we'll get a tick. I know it.
Nope.
All right, speaking
Well.
of ticks, one of mine is I'm always trying to do the outro. So this week we've talked about Jaynestown and Out of Gas. Next week we're going to talk about, is it Ariel or Ariel? Ariel and War Stories. Thank you for listening. I have been Caitlin.
I'm Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Kelly.
I'm Justice, I guess.
Stay shiny.
If you like what you heard today and you'd like to hear more, or if you're like, Firefly's fine, but I'd rather listen to Star Trek, well, good news. Most of the time we're Star Trek, so check that out.
We're like halfway done with Firefly, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, getting close.
You can find us where all fine podcasts are sold. We are on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Music, maybe Stitcher by the time this is on. You can also visit us on Facebook. You can find our Facebook page by searching A Star to Steer Her By. If you visit Tumblr or Twitter, you can give us a follow. We are at SSHB Podcast. And we also...
It's SSHB Podcast.
SSHB Podcast. And also, you can visit our website. It's really just our Tumblr at sshbpodcast.com. And I think that's it for us. So join in next week when we discuss more Fireflies.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Farts.
This one just fizzled out. That's okay.
Yeah, it
Well,
happens.
but it started with me spitting all over Jake, so at least...
I won't fix it in post.
Great.
There is nothing to fix. This is perfect.
Close enough.
It's not bad.
I felt like you were like, and now for the silence, and I'm just waiting for you to be like...
But that's not on my business.
Why has there been a spit take?
Are you okay?
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
That was amazing.
I'm so sorry. I started to choke. And I did it to myself. I'm so sorry. Jake, are you okay? I'm really sorry.
I'm covered in your spit coffee.
I'm sorry.
Thank
The
you,
mic,
Chris.
too.
You might need more paper towels than that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more over there than I was
I'm so sorry, Jake.
Wow.
Hi, future me.
I mean, I'm sorry to everybody, but I'm mostly sorry to Jake. I hope I didn't get you either.
No, I'm good.
Kelly, did I get you?
No. I don't
Just
think so.
Kelly, were you
Did I
surprised
get
by that?
anyone?
See that coming, did you, bitch? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Oh my
that was
god,
fascinating.
Ames, I'm so sorry for
Don't
spraying
worry.
all over your house.
We're fine. I think this was
Jake, are
amazing.
you alright? Was your mouth open?
I'm alright.
You better not cut any of this out.
Oh no.
There's a
guys.
13% chance this will be the post credits.
No, my shame.
Yes, let's wipe the mic.
Wipe
it.
that mic.
Wipe it.
Yeah. Harder.
Okay, that's enough of that.
You don't want to be too rough on the tip.
That's true. That's
No,
the
no,
most
just
sensitive
punch
part.
the end.
I'm gonna have to listen to those noises you're making. Stop it.
God, I'm still choking. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
God, editing these animals.
Oh god,
Right.
Jake, I'm really sorry. No, I
better be.
I feel terrible.
But yeah, so admittedly, I was calling for the silence while I've been hearing, not thinking about the fact that I didn't have to drink very quietly.
Well, at least you didn't do what I did during the silence.
True.
Oh fuck.
All right. Are we recovered?
Do we recenter or do we...
No, because that happened after we had the
Okay.
silence done, so it's fine. As long as we didn't hit any of the knobs while we were cleaning. God damn it.
Woo!
All right, Chris.
God.
Take us out.
Good night.